This one I really like. This is November 9th, 1957, Amarillo Daily News. The jet age is already obsolete. You old men of 25 or 30 years still plodding along in the jet age, wake up. Jet propulsion is obsolete. The Sputnik will shortly appear as crude as the wax wings of Icarus. I just love the wording here. We are entering the age of anti-gravity space travel. Spherical craft made weightless and propelled by anti-gravity engines may soon attain almost the speed of light, 600 million miles per hour. This is not a dream. Since 1953, the Canadian government has been working on Project Magnet. At least 14 U.S. universities and other research centers are trying to crack the gravity barrier. Teams of researchers and engineers from 4 major American aircraft companies have anti-gravity designs and data on their drawing boards, proving that whatever goes up does not have to come down. Conquest of gravity, aim of top scientists. One almost fantastic possibility is that if gravity can be understood scientifically and negated or neutralized in some relatively inexpensive manner, it will be possible to build aircraft, Earth satellites, and even spaceships that will move swiftly into outer space without strain beyond the pole of Earth's gravity field. They would not have to wrench themselves away through the brute force of powerful rockets and through the expenditure of expensive chemical fuels. So, again, we've got to go back to our Apollo 11 reference. We've got 7,700,000 pounds of static thrust on the Saturn V booster first stage. What do we need this for if they're already talking about this stuff back in 1955, long before Apollo 11? And that leads us to January 28th, 1986. Was Krista McAuliffe briefed on these clippings? Did she know what they were working on, these universities and these defense contractors? Electricity for space exploration. This is from Ryan Aerospace, February 1962. I want to give you a heads up. What are these people working on? What configurations are they working on back in 1962? They're working on these craft. This is from their own documentation. Within the next 10 years, electric propulsion will play a leading role in making extensive space trips possible. And this is the configuration that they're coming up with here. Engineers aiming to flout gravity. Elimination of interference from transspatial pole is goal. This is Miami Herald, December 2nd, 1955. The Wright brothers proved that man does not have to be earthbound. Our next step will be to prove that we can operate outside the Earth's atmosphere, and the third will be to operate outside the gravity of the Earth. This is Lawrence D. Bell. I firmly believe that before long, man will acquire the ability to build an electromagnetic contragravity mechanism that works. Much the same line of reasoning that enabled scientists to split up atomic structures also will enable them to learn the nature of gravitational attraction and ways to counter it. Grover Loaning. This is the first graduate of aeronautics. Future planes may defy gravity and airlift and space travel. Miami Herald, December 1955. So you can see as we go through these here, this is all early time frame, 1954, 1955. Scientists regard Earth today as a giant magnet. Many in America's aircraft and electronic industries are excited over the possibility of using its magnetic and gravitational fields as a medium of support for amazing flying vehicles which will not depend on the air for lift. Spaceships capable of accelerating in a few seconds to speeds many thousands of miles per hour making sudden changes of course at these speeds without subjecting their passengers to the so-called G-forces, which we talked about a little bit earlier here. Now, that brings us to our good friend John Lear and his father, William Lear. What was William Lear working on? What type of secret programs was John Lear's father working on? Valley Times, October 28, 1959. William P. Lear, inventor and chairman of the board of Lear Incorporated, one of the nation's largest electronic firms specializing in aviation, for months has been going over new developments and theories relating to gravity with his chief scientists and engineers. He is convinced that it will be possible to create artificial electrogravitational fields whose polarity can be controlled to cancel out gravity. This is what Lear is working on, inventor of the Learjet. All the mass materials and human beings within these fields will be part of them. They will be adjustable so as to increase or decrease the weight of any object and its surroundings. They won't be affected by the Earth's gravity or any celestial body. This means that any person that was in an anti-gravitational airplane or spaceship that carried along its own gravitational field, no matter how fast you accelerated or changed course, your body wouldn't any more feel it than it is now feels the speed of the Earth. So again, they're canceling out this G-force, according to William P. Lear in the own documents here. Valley Times, October 28, 1959. Lear is convinced that it will be possible to create the electrogravitational fields whose polarity can be controlled to cancel out gravity. He says all mass, materials, and human beings within these fields will be part of them. They will be adjustable, and this is what we talked about before. So if you're within these fields, you wouldn't have to be slammed against the side of the spaceship. You'd be completely devoid of these forces. October 20th, 1959, Valley Times. If a spaceship is capable of creating its own gravitational field, and if this is the controllable, the ship will accelerate as long as the field is there. The acceleration will depend entirely on the strength of the field. With gravitational or G field propulsion, a spaceship could be at rest at one moment and be traveling at near the speed of light the next instant, and the occupants of the vehicle would be unaware they had moved. This is exactly what the witnesses are telling us here. Scientists begin work to break gravity barrier. Miami Herald, this is November 30th, 1955. Scientists taking first steps in assault on gravity barrier, again, 1955 time frame. Air transportation standing on threshold of new concept. America someday may be able to explore outside forces of gravity. Again, this same 1955 time frame here. The current interest in America's aircraft and electronic industries is finding out whether gravity can be controlled or canceled out is not confined to imaginative young graduates of engineering and scientific schools. Some of the two industries' most experienced and highly regarded leaders today are engaged in theoretical research relating to gravity and universal gravitation. Their basic aim is eventually to build hardware in the shape of planes, Earth satellites, and spaceships, which can go where we want and we do want without interference from gravity's mysterious transspatial pull. So now we know what they're working on.